Hello, my friend. Good evening. This is an amazing Tuesday, February the 6th, and we are going to install Gentoo on my workstation. What we can see here is the BIOS of my workstation that we assembled. And why I'm in the BIOS? Because turning on the PC, there is no operating system yet installed in the machine, and so the PC is booting, loading the BIOS. We have already downloaded the ISO of Gentoo. You can see here I got a USB stick. If the focus works, yeah, trust me, this is a USB key with Gentoo, the minimal installation CD. So what I'm going to do is to plug this USB key into the workstation and restart the workstation, hoping that the Gentoo will install. So let's do that. Okay, so the USB key is in, so let me turn off the PC, and it's off. Let's start it again, and we should see Gentoo starting. Let's have a look. And yeah, we have the grub asking for confirmation. So let me just move a little bit the camera. Okay, now the system is asking for the keyboard layout. I have attached a US keyboard, so I'm not changing the layout of my machine. And let's see what happened. Okay, and we are in. So there is the prompt, the bash prompt, and we are ready to install. A couple of points. I'm not going to execute the installation with the camera because it will be quite long. I will get connected with SSH to this machine. So in order to do that, I have to start the SSH daemon, and to do that, the command is already written here. It's etc/init.d/sshd start. It's generating the RS key, and it started. But the other thing that we have to do is to change the root password, because with command whoami, we can see that we are root, but with the installation CD is not set the password. So what we have to do is to set password with command passwd, and he's asking me for the new password. I can easily set 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. Retype again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and enter. And the password is updated. It's not important to have a very complicated password in this stage, because this is the root password of Gentoo that is running into the USB key. So this is not the root password of the Gentoo that we are going to install. That's a different one. Before proceeding and connecting with SSH, I need to understand what is the IP address of this machine. I have connected the workstation with a Ethernet cable into my home network, so should have already an IP address. So with the command IPA, yeah, I can see that here the IP address is 192.168.1.78. So this is the IP address I'm going to use to SSH into this machine. So the machine is up and running, so let me switch the input of the monitor to my Mac Mini, that is here. And from here, I should be able to ping the workstation 192.168 maybe you can see, you cannot see. No, here you should see that. But maybe now it's time to switch to the macOS. So 192.168.1.78. Yes, it's answering. Okay, so we can simply do Ctrl L to clear, and we can do SSH root, that is our user, at 192.168.1.78. Warning remote, something nasty. Man in the middle. That's strange. Okay, maybe I found the issue. So I got connected previously with this machine to test, and the previous SRA key has been saved, and the RSK saved for that IP address was different from the one just generated. So I had to remove the file known hosts from the local.ssh folder, and in theory I should be able to connect again. So SSH root at 192.168.1.78. Okay, so now he's asking me confirmation if I want to connect. I say yes. He's asking me for the password 1234, and we are in. So basically what we have here is the bash prompt from the Gentoo running on the USB key plugged into my workstation. What you can see here is that we have already connected to the AMD 64 handbook, and this will be the guide that we will follow for the installation. And we can go directly to preparing the disk section, because connecting here into SSH and having the workstation already connected to internet, we should be able to ping, for example, gnu.org. Yeah, we have a reply, so we can Ctrl X, so that we can go directly to preparing the disks. So Gentoo handbook is, let's say, awesome, complete, and explain everything in the minimum detail. Just to verify if we are in the correct machine, I'm quite confident because I don't have too many machines, but if I do, for example, the command lsblk, I should be able to see here my NVMe drives that we are going to set for this installation. And I will create more or less the same identical configuration explained here. So a first partition, FAT32 for the EFI system, another partition for swap, and another big partition formatted as XFS for the root partition. But I have also another disk that I will configure with just one partition for XFS. So the commands that we have to execute is basically fdisk dev with the drive that we want to set. So the first drive is NVMe 0 and 1, so we are doing fdisk dev NVMe 0 and 1. So we are in the fdisk utility. If we type p to print the partitions in this disk, we can see that we do not have any partition. So we can hit G command to create a new GPT label. New one has been created with the N command, we create a new partition. The first one will be the EFI, so default one is correct, first sector is correct. And here we have to set the size of this partition. So let's say for this partition 150 megabytes should be more than enough for the EFI. Let's hit enter. Created a new partition. Do you want to remove the scene? Yes. And what we have to do, because the fdisk command created a Linux file system, we have to change the type of file system. So with the T command, we can change the type. I don't know why it's slow. Okay, partition type of IS, if I recall, should be 1, the EFI partitions. So let's... it's not answering. I hit the 1 button. Okay, too many. 1. Okay, 1. And enter. Okay, yeah. Also changed from Linux file system to EFI system. So if we hit again the P command, we can see we have just one partition. So we have to create a new one. This will be the swap partition. The swap partition will be the number 2, starting from the first available sector, and the size of plus. So here in this machine we have 96 gigabytes of RAM. So in theory we can create, the rules will say to create a partition, a swap partition that is double the size of RAM. But 96 gigabytes are a lot of RAM, so the swap partition that I will create will have the same size, so it will be 96 gigabytes. And we have created a new partition of Linux file system, and also in this case we have to change the type of this partition. So T, second default is 2, and if I'm not wrong, should be 19, the swap. Yes, file system to swap. So let's hit P again, and we have the second partition. So we have just to create the last one with the end command, default 3. And we can hit enter for the last sector just to say take everything. And okay, new partition 3, Linux file system, size 1.7 terabytes. So let's use the P command and verify that everything is correct. So it seems very good. So with the command W, we are going to write the partition table and partition table altered. So what we have to do now is to do the same identical command but with NVMe 1 and 1. Also here P to print the partition table but is empty. So with the G command we create a new partition, a GPT label. With the N command we create a new partition, default 1 is correct, and also the sector, first sector is correct, and also last sector we can just hit enter to get the maximum value. So create a new partition file system. Do we want to remove the signature? Yes, say yes, because we are going to format everything. So P command, there is one partition, NVMe 1 and 1P1, W, and enter to write the partition table. So now if we do again the lsblk command, we should see the drives modify. Yeah, we can see here that we have the first drive with our 3 partitions and the second drive with just 1 partition. So good to go. We can go directly to the end of this section and start with the format creating the file systems. So these are the commands. Let's move back to our terminal. So let's create the first, let's format the first partition with FAT32 with the command mkfs dot vfat space minus f space 32, and the device will be dev nvme0 and 1p1. Let's hit enter, and it's completed. And now we can do the other two file systems with mkfs dot xfs, in this case, dash dev nvme0 and 1p3. This will be for the root partition. Let's hit enter and wait for the finish. It will take some time because it's quite a big partition, more or less 2 terabytes. Okay, we have done. So now let's do the same. So the previous command, but now it's nvme1 and 1p1. So the same file system xfs. Hit enter. Okay, it's was faster now. And now we have to create the swap. So we can do mk swap slash dev nvme0 and 1p2. Setting as swap, okay, and now we can swap on slash dev nvme0 and 1p2. Done. Okay, so now we can mount the root partition with this command. We can do mount slash dev slash nvme 0 and 1p3 mnt slash Gentoo and hit enter. Okay, and now we can go to the next session, installing the stage file. Okay, we have to choose a stage file. I will go with OpenRC, not systemd, and with the multilib. So download the stage file, setting date and time. Okay, it's not important to me to set now the date time. And now we can use the links program to connect to the Gentoo mirrors and download the stage file. So links https www.gentoo.org downloads mirrors and enter. Okay, here we should go to Italy because we are in Italy. I'm in Italy. So these are the two mirrors available. I will go to the HTTPS. So here we have to go to releases. Our platform is IMD64. We have to go to auto builds, and here we have to select our stage 3. So we are going to open RC, and so this is the folder. Okay, now what will be the file to be downloaded? So So let's try to do the 28th January. Let's save. No, this is the .ash. Cancel. Let's try this one. Save. No. Let's try this one. 15 January. Maybe too old. Save. No. 7 January. No, this is not the file. 31st. Too old. No, it's too old. So let's go back. Let's try the February the 4th. This one. And save. Yes, is this one. Is the tar xz. And let's hit enter to save the file. So the download should start. Why it's not going? I wish to continue to download overwrite. Overwrite. Ah, that's why. Because I missed a very important step. Let's exit. We have mounted our disks into mnt Gentoo, but we haven't moved into this directory. So let's go to mnt/Gentoo. Now we are in the directory, and we can recall. Where is the links? This one. Enter. Let's go again to IT. HTTPS. Releases. AMD64. Auto builds. OpenRC desktop. And if I'm not wrong, should be the February the 4th. Save. tarxz. Okay. Why I can't see that is downloading the file? Okay, never mind. So let's go through getting the link from here. So get Gentoo, open a new tab. Let's go, where are the mirrors? Anyway, it's this file, so desktop profile OpenRC. So let me copy the link, copy link address, and here let's exit. Do you want to exit? Yes. Let's do an ls to verify that okay, we have something, but let's remove them. I don't know if it's completed. ls, and now let's do wget space, and let me paste. Okay, and let's hit enter. Okay, now we are downloading this one. Okay, in the meantime, we can go directly to the, we should verify and so on, but I really would like to trust the Gentoo mirror. Okay, so we are here, and we need to execute this command in order to extract the tarball file. So here we have also the explanation of the meaning of all these parameters. tarxpvf stage 3 with exact include and the numeric owner. So let's wait for the finish. Okay, see, finished save. Let's do an ls. Okay, so let's do tar xpvf stage. I can hit tab for the auto completion of the file name, and dash dash x at dash include equal star dot star close, and then slash slash numeric slash owner, and let's hit enter. So now we are extracting all the files in this tarball file. Now let's see what we have next. Okay, next we need to configure the compile options, because Gentoo is a distribution where you have to compile everything, and the main important file of our Linux system will be this make.conf file that actually in this moment is located in this directory. And here we have to set some parameters, such as the common flags here, telling what will be the architecture that we are going to, where we are going to install Linux. And also the most important one will be the make ops, that will going to tell to the system how many CPU threads we have and the system can use to compile everything. So in my case, I have a CPU with 16 core and 32 threads, so I'm going to set this value to 32. So let's go back here, let's wait for the finish, and then we can open our make.conf in this folder. Yeah, there are a lot of files here. Well, indeed, I choose a desktop environment tarball. This is not the minimal. It's midnight. It's time to go sleep, but not in my case. Anyway. Come on, baby. you can do that. Okay, it seems it's finished. Now we can see that if we do the ls command, we can see that we don't have anymore just the stage 3 file, but we have basically all the folders and directories of a Linux distribution. So let's do the nano /mnt gentoo etc portage and make.conf. Enter. So here we have the common flags. We have to set here the architecture and arch equal native and space. And then the other very important option is make ops. Here, capital make ops equal double quotes -j32 space -l32 double quotes to close, Ctrl O to save, Ctrl X to exit. And now ready, set, go. Okay. Update. Okay, we have just done that, so we can go to the next session, installing the base system. Into the base system, we have first of all to copy the DNS info. So we have to cp copy with the option the reference the file etc resolve.conf into /mnt gentoo /etc. And okay. And now we have to mount the file system. Okay, this is quite boring, but okay, let's do that. Types proc /mnt gentoo /proc mount rbind sys /mnt gentoo sys mount make rslave /mnt gentoo sys. Okay, now we have to basically do the same last two commands but with dev. So up error instead of sys, let's say dev and dev, and also maker slave dev. Now the last one is run, but here it's not rbind but bind. Run and run. And also the last one is not make rslave but it's make slave, and now run. Okay, here we are. So let's move forward. We need to enter into the new environment because we are still using the Gentoo loaded from the USB key. So we have to change the root to the folder mnt gentoo using the bash. We have to refresh the source file, so source etc profile, and now we have to export the ps1 variable. ps1 is basically what we read here before the prompt, and this is needed just to recall that we are in the ch root. So basically we are telling to modify the prompt with this string that is ch root, close parentheses, and after that we append the same identical variable that is ps1. ps1 close and close, enter, enter. Okay, yeah, we can see that here we changed just the prompt with the additional string chroot. Now we have to prepare for a bootloader. We have a UEFI system, so we have to execute this command, but the deb is not SDA1, but it's the first partition of our NVMe drive. So we can create a directory called EFI, and we can mount dev NVMe 0 and 1p1 into our EFI, and let's hit enter, and it's done. So now we have to configure portage. So we need to create this folder, mkdir -- parents in etc portage repos.conf. This will be a folder, and then we have to copy the file in usr share portage config repos.conf into the folder we created before, etc portage repos.conf, and what will be the file name? gentoo.conf. And let's hit enter, and it's done. Okay, we can have a look at the content of the file, but with trust. So the next command is emerge WebRSync, and this will synchronize the local repository with the one available over the internet. So sync. Let's hit enter. Let's wait for a second. Maybe more than 1 second. Okay, while we wait for the finish, the optional is selecting the mirrors. Yes, I really would like to select the mirrors so that we can select the nearest one in Italy. So we need to emerge. Emerge is the main command in portage package system to install something. So for example, here we are installing asking verbose one shot this package that is called mirror select, and then we are calling the mirror select program with these parameters, redirecting the output into our make.conf file. Okay, we have finished to synchronize, so now we have to do emerge --ask --verbose one shot, and the package will be mirror select. There are 4 packages. Shouldn't take longer, just 700 kilobytes to download and compile. Come on, what are you doing? Okay, so now mirror select -I -O, redirecting the output into etc portage make.conf. Okay, here we are in Italy, and let's scroll down to Italy and select the 2 mirrors available for Italy. Here we are, 1 and 2. Enter. And just to have a look, if we do cat/etc portage make.conf, we can see here that we have Gentoo mirrors with the 2 mirrors that we have just selected. Okay, so the next command will be emerge --sync. And okay. Okay, and in the meantime, what will be the next command? Okay, yes, okay. With the eSelect news, we can read the messages, but okay, we do not have time now to read all the messages. Then we have to eSelect the profile list. So with this command, we are able to select what will be the profile that we are going to install. So let's see. Okay, so eSelect profile list. So these are the available profiles, and we can see that this one is already selected because there is this symbol here, stable desktop 17.1, and I don't want to change because I'm not going to install GNOME or Plasma or version for systemd. I will be in the OpenRC, so I'm okay with this. And so we do not have to select profile list. No, it's not our case. Optional adding a binary package host. It's not our case for the moment. We will see in the future. And optional configuring use variable. Okay, now maybe it's time to set some use variable in our make.conf. So these are the variables that will be considered global in the local installation, and it will be considered to all packages that we will install. So for example, if we do not want GNOME or KDE, we can just place a minus between the name. If we do not place the minus, for example Qt5, we are telling the system to use Qt5 as default use flag for all the packages, if the packages that we are going to install can have Qt5 flag. But what we are going to do is to etc portage make.conf. Okay, now we can set here our use flag. So we are going to install Xorg, not Wayland, for desktop environment. I will not use GNOME, neither KDE. So I will use -GNOME -KDE. I will need for sure some additional use flags, for example ALSA and Pulse Audio for the audio. I will load NVENC for the NVIDIA encoders of my graphic cards. I will use also dbus, eLoginD, and also Xcinerama. This package will be needed for DWM. Yes, it's a spot. And okay, let's say also DVD and CDR. Okay. And one additional row that we are adding here will be features. This will be the features of Portage, and we are enable Candy for some happy animation, parallel fetch, and parallel install. And we can say Ctrl O to save and Ctrl X to exit. So next step is the CPU Flex. So we are installing this package. So let's clear the screen and let's do emerge -ab. -ab is the stands for --ask and --verbose. And then is CPU ID to CPU Flex. And yes, I want to install. Okay, is installed. And now we are going to use this command, redirecting the output into a particular file. So we are doing echo $, CPU ID to CPU Flex, closing parentheses, closing double quotes, space, redirecting the output into /etc portage package.use, maybe package.use 00 CPU Flex 00 CPU dash flex. Yep, correct. Let's hit enter, and it's done. Now the other we have to add another parameter into our make.conf that is for the video cards. This will be used by Xorg, not here, but in the next video that we are going to do, and we are going to set NVIDIA as video cards. So let's do again nano/etc portage make.conf, and let's add here video underscore cards equals double quotes NVIDIA, because we are going to use the property driver from NVIDIA. And but before closing, there is also the optional configure the accept license variables, and where is it? Yeah, let's add this row into the make.conf, accept underscore license equal to everything, basically. I don't care for the moment. And okay, we can close our make.conf, Ctrl O to save, Ctrl X to exit, and now we can update the word set. The command is quite long, so emerge ask verbose update deep new use at word, and let's see what happened. "27 packages, 13 updates, 2 new and 12 reinstalled." I think I can just say yes for the moment. And let's hit enter and let's wait for the finish. I think it will take 15 minutes, more or less. And it's midnight and 25. So let's see in a couple of minutes. So, okay, we have finished the image, the word set, and we have to remove the obsolete package. Is to always deep clean after to remove. Really up carefully with the image clean, pretend to see if any of these to be clear pairs should be kept if person using them together. Imagine or replace two. So let's see if we do a deep clean with the pretend what we are going to remove. Emerge dash ask pretend depth clean package install package in the system package to remove 47. Clang compiler and time sanitizer Clang toolchain okay, I don't see anything particular, so let's do the same command but without the pretend option to execute the deep clean. So yes, and it's going to remove the packages. So time zone. So we have OpenRC, so we have to execute this command for the time zone. Okay. Okay, so echo Europe dash Rome, because we are in Italy, and let's do the output to be ATC time zone, and okay. And the next command is to emerge dash config time zone slash data. Say convert emerge copying. Okay, that's perfect. System D is not our case. Now we have to configure locales. So now slash etc locale.gen, and we have to uncomment the locale we want to install. So we are happy with enus utf8. So Ctrl O to save, Ctrl X to exit. Now we can execute locale-gen to generate our locales. Generation complete. Now the next command is we need to select the locale, so select locale list, and we have to set to 4. So select locale set 4. Cannot say that for no such file or directory with this set range. Run etc to profile to update the variable in your shell. And let's do that. etc profile. Permission denied. There is a space. Okay. Now let's do the other command is n update. Now source etc profile, and let's do it again, the export ps1 equal to chroot dollar ps1, and here we are configuring the kernel. So with this installation we do not have enough time, it's quite 1 AM in the morning, so we will go with the distribution kernel, but first of all we need to install the Linux firmware. So let's do emerge-av Linux firmware. Say yes to install it, and then let's see what's next. SOF firmware, the new open source mean to replace the proprietary setting. This option is only necessary if a manual configuration is planned, as the distribution kernel have them already enabled. So we do not need to do SOF firmware. Microcode we do not do this because AMD are distributed with Linux firmware. So let's do the kernel configuration. Full automatic approach. Let's go here, distribution kernel. Before installing the kernel package, the Dracat use flag needs to be added to syskernel install kernel in etc portage package.use. So this means that we have to create a file with the touch command in etc portage.use. Install kernel, and we need to do nano/etc portage package.use install kernel, and here we have to write syskernel/install kernel space Dracat, Ctrl O, save, Ctrl X, and now we can emerge the kernel -ab Gentoo kernel bin, and here we can see that the Dracat is taken as the use flag, and let's do yes. So okay, let's move forward. Optional signed kernel module is not our case. Signed kernel image is not our case. Grading and cleanup. Okay, let's wait for finish of kernel installation, and we do emerge again. Emerge dep clean. Okay, now emerge --dep clean. Let's see what happened. Okay, nothing to remove. And okay, it seems that we have finished with this section. Yes, so we can go directly to the end, and then we can go to configuring the system. So the first step is the partition table and fstab. So here there is the explanation of how to set fstab, but I'm quite lazy, so I will emerge the gen fstab utility, because this utility will create the content of the gen fstab. Indeed, if I call gen fstab on the root directory, we should see everything. We should see the partitions, but why I have just 3 partitions? That's correct, because I haven't mounted the other disk. So let me do mkdir /data. This will be the mount point of the other disk, and I will do mount /dev/nvme 1 and 1p1 into our data folder. And now if I do again the gen fstab root, I should see everything. Yep, indeed, I can see here the other disks. And if I do with the -u option, I should see as output the UUID, and this will be redirected into etc gen fstab. No, fstab, just fstab. Okay, here we are. Okay, we can continue. We need to set the host name. How are we going to call this machine? So echo Gentoo box, easy peasy, and we'll redirect the output into the etc hostname file. And we do not use systemd, so let's continue with the network configuration. We are going to use DHCP, so emerge -av DHCP CD package. It will be a reinstall, yes. Should be quite fast in theory. So unpacking the source. Okay, done. So we need to add into our OpenRC service, so rc update add DHCP CD at default level, and we can also start the service DHCP CD start. Starting, fail to start. Because it's already running, so not an issue. So the next step is netifrc. So let's install emerge -ask -no replace netifrc. Okay, yes. Recording in word forward file. Okay. So the DHCP is used by default, but we would like to specify for our network card. So I don't recall the name of the network card. Is ENP9S0. So we have to do nano /etc/conf.d. Let's see, enter, and here we have to specify config underscore ENP9S0, that is our network interface, equal DHCP double quotes, Control O, enter, Control X, and automatic start network at boot. So okay, we need to go to cd etc/init.d, and we create a logic link of our loopback network card with our net ENP9S0, and we have also to start and to update our OpenRC system to add our net ENP9S0 at default level. Okay, and we are in. So the host files, okay, let's do nano, let's add Gentoo box into our host files. Localhost, we need to add Gentoo box here for the IPv4 and here for the IPv6. Control O, enter, Control X. Now, root password. This is the root password of our installation. So passwd. Let's set the password with a quite complex one. Okay, it's too short, but I'm okay with that. Init and boot configuration, I will keep it as default, not going to change, and let's go to install the tools. We are quite finished. So system logger for so let's do emerge -av sysk logged in. Yes. Let's do an rc update add sysk log default, and it's added. Chrome daemon. So emerge -av crony. Yes. 5 packages. Shouldn't take a lot of time. Okay, and rc update add crony default. Okay, added. Let's move forward. Systemd file indexing. Let's emerge mlocate. Yes, 2 packages. And then after that we need to start the SSH daemon at default level. So rc update add sshd at default level into our OpenRC. So we do not have a serial control, we do not have systemd, bash completion, and then also time synchronization. Let's install them all together. So emerge -av bash completion and crony, and 7 packages. Yes, let's wait for the finish. Okay, now we have to do rc update add crony at default level, and service is added. So now it's time for the file system tools. And I'm not going to install them all, but for sure I will need XFS progs, E2FS progs, DOS FS tools, and for the moment it should enough, and I will install also the IO scheduler udev rules. And let's say yes and continue. 6 packages. And then what's next? Networking tool, installing a DHCP client, but we have already installed, so yeah, indeed, if networking was previously configured, network setup, then it's working, you can proceed configuring a bootloader. But I already configured the network because I'm using Ethernet cable, but considering that I have also a wireless network card installed, and I'm not going to use it, but in case something goes wrong with my network card or with my cabled network, I will install also these packages. Who knows? Better install them and do not use them instead of do not have these packages and get stuck because I have to install everything from scratch. So let's wait for finish. Okay, and let's do an emerge AV of IV package and WPA underscore supplicant. And let's say yes. Okay, in the meantime, we can go to the next session, configure the bootloader, and let's see what we have to do. So select the bootloader, and I will select grub. When using an older BIOS, it's not our case, we are a UEFI user, so we need to add the grub platform, this row, into the make.com file. And then we have to emerge grub. Okay, so let's wait for this to finish. 1 AM, we have quite finished. So let's do nano / etc portage make.conf, and let's go at the end, and let's add grub underscore platforms equals double quotes EFI -64. Let's close double quotes, Control O, enter Control X, and now we can do emerge -AV grub. Okay, verify scene. So it seems that he took the parameter that we set into make.conf. So let's proceed. 6 packages. It will take a couple of minutes because grub, if I recall, it's not complicated, but it's quite longer to install. And anyway, we are installing the package. After installing the package, we have to install grub into our boot partition. And for the UEFI system, this will be the command to be executed. grab. I want to go bed. Come on. Okay, so grab is installed, and now it's time to install grab into our boot partition. So grab install --efi directory equals to /efi. And let's see what happened. Installation finished, no error reported. Perfect. So let's move forward, and secure boot is not our case, the bug, and now we have to configure grab. So the command to execute is grab -mkconfig -o, then boot grab.cfg. No, wrong. Boot. Quite tired. Sorry. grab.cfg. Let's hit enter. Will not be added to the grab configuration. Okay, we don't care. This will be the only system. So adding boot menu entry, we have, it seems we have finished because this is Lilo, and we are able to reboot our system. So we are into the ch root, we can exit to the ch root, we can exit from the mounted partition, and we can execute the umount commands. /mnt gentoo dev shm, pts, and close. Now umount capital R /mnt gentoo, no, wrong, mnt gentoo, and now we are able to reboot. But let me turn on the camera. Okay, let me just set up the camera. Okay, and now we can reboot. Let's hit enter. Let's switch the monitor to the other input, and let's hope that we are able to start grab. So we have UEFI, yeah, we have grab. Grab is loading. Yeah. Look at here. We have a prompt. So it's asking me for the login. Let's try to log in with root, with my super secure password, and we are in. Let's try to ping gnu.org. So it seems it's working. So installation of Gentoo is completed. The minimal installation has been, it's working because we are able to boot into our new system. And see you in the next episode for set up the desktop environment. Thank you so much. Have a good night.